So today we are going to be talking about this book and reading it together. So it is The Entertainer by Emma Dodd. Now on the cover you can see there's a bear and he's wearing a silly hat, as well as the kids playing around and some balloons. There's even some stars on here. So why don't we turn to our partners and ask what they think is going to happen in this book. So I'll give you a minute to do that. So now that we have turned to our neighbor and asked each other what we think is going to happen to the book, or in the book, I will ask a few of you guys for your answer and we can talk about it a little bit. Okay, so now that we talked about it, we're going to open it up and see what we think. Ooh. So I guess, what is that? A cage with a lock on it that something broke out of. So what do we think might have happened? We can turn to our partner and I'll give you a minute to think more about what might be happening. Okay, so here is the first page. Let me move over. So where do we think this setting is? Do we think it's at a house? And why are the kids all dressed up? Do you think it's Halloween maybe? I'm not sure. Let's read the first page and then we can turn to our partner and talk about that. Ding dong, hip hip hooray. There's someone special here today. Make some room, let him get past. The entertainer's here at last. So what do we think is gonna happen? And where is the setting of this book, and why are the kids dressed up? Let's talk about that. Let's turn to our partners and we'll get back to discussion in a minute. Those were some good answers, so let's keep on reading here. This is the next page. Come in, said Billy's mom. Tea, Dadass? Please do have some. Your costume looks so realistic. The entertainer grabbed a biscuit. Do we see any special parts of speech in here? I think maybe there's some rhyming, like entertainer grabbed a biscuit and realistic. So look at the kids. He's gonna have a little snack. He drank the tea in one big slurp. Bleh. Let's read that again. He drank the tea in one big slurp and thanked his host by saying, "Burp?" Mom looked quite shocked and said to Dad, "His manners really are quite bad." The children traced him through the door. The gifts were thrown across the floor. Among them, a gift from Billy's mom. He steps. What is he going to step on? Now, what do we think is going to happen once he steps on this right here? Maybe it's a skateboard. What do we think will happen? Let's turn to our partners and talk about that for a second here. Okay, so now that we discussed that and found out that it's a birthday party and he got a gift from his mom, and we think that he might fall straight on his face when he steps on that skateboard, let's see what happens. He slipped, he whirled, he spun. Wow, they cried, this guy is fast. So look at that. He didn't fall flat on his face, but he did slip and whirl and spin. So he went all over the house. And I think from the previous page, let's look. There's a plant right here, right? And look at it now. There's a plant. And then it's fallen off. And then on this page, it's broken. So what do you think Mom and Dad are thinking right now? Let's think about that and talk to your partner, and we'll discuss what Mom and Dad might be thinking at this time. Now that we talked about what Mom and Dad think are going to happen, let's move on and see if they really are upset with the situation going on, or if they think it's funny. Then crash! His journey stopped at last. The children clapped, the children laughed. He's hilarious, they gasped. Hilarious, repeated Mom. She thought, I wish he'd never come. So that's our answer. How do we know that they were gonna be upset about this whole thing, right? I think it's their expression on their face. See, he's kind of frowning and she's covering her eyes like she doesn't want to see what's happening. So let's continue reading. Ooh, this looks fun. The entertainer grabbed a jug and drank the water. Glug, glug, glug. Next he took the flower bunch and chewed the stems up. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Look at that, isn't that silly? And you can see the balloons here, so you can definitely tell it is a birthday party. And then there's all the kids laughing at him and the flower stems. And what do we call these? Onomatopoeias? Because they're making the sound. It's a word making the sound. So like a chew, it would be spelled out. And then the entertainer found a bowl of fruit. Mom looked and frowned. Into his mouth each piece he threw, as Billy cried, "He juggles too!" Down they went in one big bite. "Bravo!" the kids cried in delight. "This guy is great," they said to Mom. "We're really glad he's come." Look, he's eating all the fruit. Isn't that silly? We see some lemons and a lime and orange and bananas, and there's even an apple in his mouth. Maybe that's his favorite. When he'd finished juggling fruit, the children asked to try on his suit. They tugged and yanked and poked and ripped, but couldn't find where it unzipped. Now why would his suit unzip, huh? Do we think it's a real bear? Do we think it's someone dressed up as a bear at a birthday party? So turn to your partners and I'll give you a couple minutes to talk about it and we'll come back. So now that we talked about it, I've heard a couple good theories that maybe it is a guy dressed up in a suit, but on the page it said they couldn't find where it unzipped, so maybe it's just hard to find, or maybe it's a real bear. Who would invite a real bear to a birthday party for little kids? That's not a good idea. But let's read and we'll find out. He stopped the kids with big brown paws, attached to which were long, sharp claws. He reached out for the red balloon when pop, 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 boom. So either his real claws or his fake claws are very sharp and shouldn't be trusted brown balloons, huh? What do we think the kids are thinking right now? Do you think they look happy, huh? Let's turn to our neighbor and see if we think the kids are happy, scared, excited. Let's talk. So now that we talked about how the kids might be feeling, if they're happy, excited, scared, nervous, what we think they're thinking, let's see if we were true. Hey guys. The enter turned and fled. The next door he found the birthday spread, so there's confirmation that it is a birthday party. He licked his lips, his tummy rumbled, over to the feast he stumbled. And there's that rhyming again of rumbled and stumbled and fled and spread. And look at all the yummy stuff on there. We have sandwiches and veggies and fruit, pizza. Oh my goodness. I'm sure you guys have some of that. There's even cupcakes, but I don't see a birthday cake. What do we think about that? There's no birthday cake. Let's see if we can find out where it is. The children found him in a heap, snoring loudly, fast asleep. "The food," Billy's mom cried down the hall. "The entertainers ate it all." So look, I don't think Mom and Dad are too happy now either. Dad's even getting a red face. Do you see that? And the kids look like they think it's funny. The children laughed. "That was a treat, but now it's time for us to eat." Mom dashed to the refrigerator. "I'm glad I saved cake for later." So look, her hair's all messed up. So why do you think her hair's messed up? Do you think it's because she's running around? Or do you think it's because maybe she forgot to do her hair in the morning? I don't know. You can see he's very upset that he's not allowed to eat, huh? They ate the cake, it tasted splendid, then the birthday party ended. And there's another rhyme right there. All the guests enjoyed the show, but now it's time for them to go. So everybody's leaving the birthday party. So maybe now we'll figure out if the bear's real or not. Let's see. Billy said, I'm so impressed that entertainer was the best. He added, Mom, can I be clear? I'd like the same one every year. Just then, the doorbell rang. Ding dong! And do we remember that at the beginning of the story, if we flip back here, at the very beginning, it says, ding dong, ding dong. So let's see, there's someone at the door. It's like a doorbell. Uh-oh. A man stood with a bear suit on. He said, I'm sorry, I'm so late. I went to number 28. And you can see here, in tiny little letters, it says 82. So the bear in the suit, or the man in the suit, was actually supposed to go to this party. So we know that that bear was real. And if you look in the tiny, tiny picture right there, you can see the bear being taken away by, I don't know if we remember this on the title page, this man who's looking for the missing bear. So he was a real bear at this party. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's turn to our neighbor, our partner, and talk about what happened in the story and what we thought was going to happen, and see if it was the same or different, and then I'll come back in a minute. Okay, so now that we talked about the result of the story being that the bear that came to the party was a real bear and he just wanted to eat all the food, he got out of maybe the zoo. We don't exactly know where he came from. So do we want to talk about some things we still don't understand, and maybe we can go back through the story and figure out the answer? Thank you guys for paying attention today and talking with your neighbor and being very good participators today. We had a lot of fun reading this book, and if you have any questions, now's the time to ask them. But you guys did amazing today, and I'm glad we got to figure out if this was a real bear at the party or not.